What's up, shavers and shavettes? Here we are today again with another average shave, just a normal shave. Today is the sub exclusive, so I'm taking it in a weird direction. I'm gonna go the full round the world with the Gatsby stuff. So we're gonna start off with the West Egg soap from Storybook and Chatty Lux, and then our splash, we're hitting round 2, the Valley of Ashes from Southern Witchcrafts, and then to top it all off, round 3 with the East Egg from Barrister and Man. Now, I know full well that those scents probably don't go together all that well. I don't know, maybe the experts would say that, but what do I care? Brush we're using today is just a cheap Omega boar that I got from Shave HQ. So nice bargain deal from Shave HQ over there. And this Equinox shavette that I got from none other than Mad Dingers. Yo. So let's get at it. I'm gonna just dampen the brush, shake it out and go. It'll be soft by the time it gets onto my skin. Got our brush loaded up with a ton of soap for this little 22 or 24 millimeter probably. So, excuse me. So I already made my love story to dingers, but I will take another opportunity to say that if you haven't somehow had some kind of interaction, mostly positive I'm sure, with dingers, then you haven't been around very long, because he's the 100% the reason that I am still here, because he was so welcoming to me when I first came over from wherever I came from. And then he sent me these shavettes, and that got me started off into the whole shavette game. And I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty good with shavettes. I think people know me as a user of cheap shavettes. That's me. I got no shame with that. So, love me some dingers. He's hooked me up with multiple things, so I got nothing but good words and praise and love for that guy. And I would imagine half the sub has received some sort of package in the mail. I remember when I first mentioned the shavettes in the sub, that I was kind of interested in figuring them out, and he said I got a couple that I'll send you, and some razors. And I was new, I had no idea who this guy was. He said he's like, no bamboozle. Some of the guys here can vouch for me. I'm not a nutcase. And then what happened next really gave me like a good feeling about the sub, where what didn't happen was a whole bunch of people replying saying, yes, we love dingers and you can 100% trust this man. What happened was a whole bunch of people going, giving dingers a good roasting, saying things like, do I trust him or can dingers put a stamp on a box and get it to the post office? Probably, but no guarantees as to what's going to be in there, and so it gave him a good ribbing, and I said, you know what, I'm going to like this place, and I still do. So, smelling good. So again, and never enough good things to say about dingers, but again, awesome dude. We've chatted, on the side and not in a more private context, and he's just a really, really good dude. I love that guy. So there's a couple of guys that I consider myself close with in the sub, Dingers and Reladed and you know, SpongeBob and guys like that, you know. But Dingers he's a star. So enough of that sausage fest. Let's talk about the sub exclusives. So when I came around was just after the Seville in reserve. So when I started hanging around, that was the hot sort of commodity going around the bazaar. There was a lot of people, you know, wanting it, and when it would come up for sale, it would sell out immediately. And I was like, what have we here? What is this Seville in reserve? And I didn't really understand, you know, how the exclusives worked, but I saw that it said for our Wetshaving on there, and so then it kind of became one of those things where it's like, oh, I gotta get this, you know, I gotta get in on this FOMO, you know. And but then I sort of figured out what it was, and wasn't really around for it. So I don't know, I guess I lost interest in it. I love Seville. I mean, it's a great soap, and I certainly wouldn't throw a thing of Seville in reserve in the trash, but it's as far as sub exclusives go, and the ones before, it's like I wasn't here for that, so I don't know. I could take it or leave it. But I was here for Gatsby, and in my opinion, Moimo, Gatsby was the greatest since I've been around, because the idea behind it was great. The hype behind it was great. All the people involved were great. Just everything was so fun and exciting, and the excitement building up to it, and all of the players and the artwork, and I don't know. I just loved that whole time period where that was coming out. So the Gatsby trilogy holds a special place in my heart, and all three of the products, the West Egg, Valley of Ashes, and East Egg, all three of those are they're in my top 10 of my favorite fragrances and products to use. So just an awesome fun time to have that experience. So the West Egg, this has like I know it's supposed to be like a champagne note, but there's like that sort of, it's a faint sort of boozy background, but it does get that crispy, like white grape smell. And it's a very similar smell to one of Sean's other, was it Gloria? No, that was the blueberry, wasn't it? Weizenstrasse? Is that, I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but one of those has that sort of grape thing. And when I smelled that one, I was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of a little bit of the West Egg. It's different, but it sort of has a similar thing. So there we go, Storybook. Lather's looking good as usual. I've got absolute tons of it. Yeah, it's good. I love that. Now, the Valley of Ashes is great too, because first of all, the book is great. You know, it's cool to see how these different fragrances were designed to capture the idea behind the story. And I don't remember going to school, but it's all a blur. So I don't know what I read and what I didn't. If I was supposed to read it, The Great Gatsby, I didn't, probably, because I was a pretty bad student. That's why I ended up in the Marine Corps. Hey, look, I turned out all right, though. I make shaving videos. But I read the book as a result of that trilogy, just because I wanted to understand what was going on. It's an easy read. And it's really well written too. Like the the style is good, and paints a really good picture. So that made it even better. So we're going to stay thick with the storybook. I like thick. So the you know, all the money and the wealth and the Art Deco on the label, and the fragrance and everything is just so, it's just so good. It just captures it so well. I love it to death. But it is all three of them. Then the Valley of Ashes that I guess we'll talk about the other ones as they come up. But here we go with this Equinox. This is a heavy, kind of a beastie thing. It's not as heavy as the ATS whatever one, but this one has just little tiny blade exposure. But it's a little brutal. I think I need some more water in my soap though. Can't be messing around with thick lathers with a Shavette. So let's hydrate that a little bit more here. Lost a hair. There's no harm in stopping and getting the lather right. Especially with a straight or a Shavette, which I tend to like those more on the thin side anyway. I'll hit it one more time. Let's see how that works. So it's got that good crisp, that grape smell. I think it's supposed to be a champagne accord, but it's grapey and a little bit boozy. Yeah, it feels better. Still a little on the dry side though. This thing is heavy, so you gotta really kind of get in there and hold on to it. Might be time for a new blade too. And then with the left hand, oop. Go with confidence. Don't be timid. But go with good technique too, because overconfidence will hurt. Nice. So, let me finish this so I don't cut my neck off. All right, so we're just doing one pass. Let's rinse. So, as you can see, my hair is out of control today. I shampooed it today, and what did I drop? Oh, and so it's got nothing in it. Curly hair dudes will know my pain. All right, so now let's talk about the second drop from the whole Gatsby thing from Southern Witchcraft's Valley of Ashes, and this one is, you know, meant to represent that dark, dusty, like the garage in the story where they would stop and where, you know, where the accident was, and I'm gonna go heavy on this because I really like this stuff. Now, I went really heavy. Now, were it not to be blasphemy, I might be inclined to say that I like this as much as Stag. You can't help but compare it to Midnight Stag, but it is different. Hold on. And it's really hard for me to place anything in there, but I could work out that there's, you know, like a gasoline type of something, and some like rubber smell and leather, and it's definitely not as boozy as Midnight Stag. Midnight Stag has a definite sharp booziness to it, but as it dries down, it gets a little bit more, I don't know if it's leathery or what it is, but I just love it to death. It's so good. I'm gonna be sad when that's gone. And then to top it all off is the East Egg from Barrister and Mann, and I love this one too because this one is a recreation of a classic style that 20s and 30s. I think they called it a cigarette fragrance or perfume or something, a cigarette box, something. I don't know the story behind that part, but this one has that great old school, it's got that powdery bite in there that Will does so well. And oh my God, that's so good. It's got some floral something in there that you get right away, but then there's a powderiness with a crisp smokiness to it but it's also bright, but it's definitely got a spicy powdery thing going on. So good. God, that's good. Makes me want to put on a pencil skirt and get somebody a coffee. So there you go. We gave even more love to dingers. We shaved with our storybook and Chatillon Looks West Egg. We used, let me put the lid back on this beloved bottle of nectar, Valley of Ashes from Southern Witchcrafts, and look at the image is done. The artwork is just done so well, like the billboard in the movie. What was his name? Dr. Eichenbach or whatever his name is. I can't remember now. And then the same the style and the theme on the East Egg. So that's my little round the world tour of the Gatsby trilogy. Going back and forth between the Valley of Ashes and East Egg, kind of like they did in the book, you know. But just great stuff. And that whole time, I don't know, it was a great time to be growing up in the sub. It was just so exciting, and everybody was involved. We had Storybook involved, and Chatillon Looks involved, and Southern Witchcrafts, and Barrister and Mann. So it was all just such a big deal, and I just loved every second of it. So awesome, loved it. love all of these products. Great shade today. Love you dingers. And we will see you guys on the morrow. Bye.